Not all who wander are lost. Welcome to The Wanderer. Hey friends! Well, I am in what people call the Olympic National Park, and I am in the heart of the rainforest. It's beautiful. And so I'm going to take a hike, and you're going to come with me. And one thing about the national parks is that just recently it was basically designated to cut the majority of the nature interpretation services in the parks. So in the Olympic National Park, they went from 130 rangers to 25. So there's not much guidance left. It's pretty much self-generated tours, which is fine, but consider me your guide on this little tour. I believe it is still relatively unknown what old trees, large stands of old trees, actually do for the environment. And when I say environment, I mean the air, the water, the quality of the soil, how well things grow when we plant them, all those things. Some people believe that forest areas, that trees should be farmed like an agricultural product. All the national forests are actually under the Department of Agriculture. Okay, so some people really believe that, and that's how they've acted in all the forests in the United States, but also Canada, as well as now many other places around the world. And I said most people believe this because, while some people actually do this work, most people go along and support it. Ah, sun! But what if we're wrong about that? What if we're wrong? Did you know that in the second half of the 1800s up till about 1900, the smartest of the smart, doctors, didn't really accept the idea that if you wash your hands with soap you can really cut disease and therefore cut the death rate? It took them 50 years to finally accept something that we would consider now to be so common sense. So I wonder, what about forest ecology that might be the same for us today? And only in 50 years will we go, oh my God, how archaic was that idea? Well, I guess my answer to that is, we'll only know in 50 years. Now that woodpecker tells the story of forest ecology perfectly. This tree fell. It's a big tree. And some people would like to say, oh, that these big trees, once they start dying, they get old, they start dying, they're just taking up space. They're a waste of time, especially when they fall like this. But that woodpecker was finding a lot of food in this old tree, namely bugs, underneath the bark. Now pretty soon as well, after a while, when little seeds of trees fall in here, a few of them will actually take root, and then a big tree well, starting out a small tree, of course, but a tree will start rooting out and growing out of this log. They do it out of stumps as well. This part has fallen, and then there's the stump. So, okay. So give this tree maybe 20, 30, 40 years, and it will be food for new trees. I'll show you some of those. They're called mother logs. I'll show you some of those here in a minute. So, it all works out. The forest is smart. It knows what it's doing. Now there, that stump right there has become a mother log, mother tree. That tree is feeding off of the old one. Now this old tree has been woodpecker food for a while. Ooh, look, there's a slug. This is the Hoh River. You can tell by the steely green, blue, gray that it's a glacial river, meaning that it comes from that glacier right up in there. This river moves back and forth quite often, and it raises a lot in the winter. You can tell by all of the trees that it has dislodged and taken down the river until they get propped somewhere, just like these. Look, and look at this. This is a root system of a tree that was taken down by the water. See the tone of the water? Kind of a gray color. It's kind of opaque. You can't really see down to the bottom. That is glacial water. I love these roots that get made into steps. Thank you, trees. The squirrel agrees. Or else it's irritated that I'm here. Sorry, squirrel. Now here's a nice example of one tree that is growing over a stump. See that little tree? Roots are grabbing on. Grow, tree, grow. Now here's another example. This tree, this is a huckleberry. Huckleberries, see the red berries? Mmm, yummy. But this is a tree that is definitely grown, and it's grown pretty big, but it originally grew on top of another stump. That's why these are parted like that, and you can see through them. But now the old stump, oh, see, there's a bit of it. The old stump has rotted away, leaving room for this lovely tree to grow strong. Ooh, another great example of trees growing out of an old, died tree. So although some people would like to say or believe that old trees have no use whatsoever, it's just not true. I would like to hear what elder people have to say about the idea that old things, people, beings, have no use. What do they think about that? Well, that's all for our walk today. I'm going to leave you with the real big one. Check this out. Wow. You are watching Earth Tribe TV.